When Rockstar pushed GTA 6 into late 2026, the whole industry inhaled. The GTA delay to October of next year created a vacuum. A huge one. Every major publisher had previously circled that revised May release date like it was the end of the world. Nobody wants to launch within miles of GTA, and I completely get it. Part of me wonders how many of the layoffs we've seen this year are because studios couldn't afford to delay their projects past GTA 6. Many studios don't have the luxury to delay their game and subsequent revenue streams to 2027. It's a wild and unfortunate time for many devs that are impacted. We're at the point that at any single moment there are literally tons of games being released in the same month. No one has time to play them all, and few could afford more than a handful of them anyway. GTA won't steal CIG's players, but it will absolutely steal the conversation. Games that break out beyond their core audience do it because the buzz carries them. The hype is what convinces someone to take a chance on something they wouldn't normally buy. What I'm talking about is hype generated by the gaming media. If every outlet suddenly decides your game is awesome, then you win. The amount of articles and YouTube videos that you'll organically generate allows your game to exist rent-free in people's heads. That's why release timing is everything. There's only so much buzz to go around. When GTA finally shows up, it absorbs all of it like a black hole. But there's a space now for a game to release and dominate the hype cycle before that happens. That game is Squadron 42. And as a bonus, they can even use the buzz from the Mandalorian movie's release in May to further raise hype by having Luke Skywalker himself out promoting the game. That's a win. Now, hear me out before you dive into the comments with your pitchforks. Yes, I still remember Operation Pitchfork. But seriously, go ahead and dive in there because engagement is great for me. Of course, there's a catch, and it's a freaking massive one. Squadron 42 can launch alone, but it can't succeed by itself. Not the way CIG needs it to. Not with the anchor around its neck that the public funding tracker has created in terms of perception. Because the real bottleneck isn't going to be Squadron 42 itself. The bottleneck is Star Citizen's persistent universe. If Squadron 42 launches and millions of players pick it up, and it will be millions, I'm 100% sure of that now, CIG has one shot to convert those players into long-term Star Citizen players. But only one single shot. Some games ramp up over time and find their audience. But that's not going to happen here. When a player finishes a cinematic single-player experience and sees the "Continue your adventure in the persistent universe" button, that's the moment that decides whether Star Citizen explodes or just kinda hovers. I doubt Squadron 42 has much replay value. Few narrative games do once you know the story. Sure, we play Cyberpunk 2077 to explore Night City and do the quest we missed the first time, but it's a completely different thing. Open-world games invite that type of exploration. That feeling that maybe you missed a hidden gem right around the corner. That's the type of thing that manifests in real life, in thrift shops and bargain stores. We're all searching for that little something everyone else missed. CIG is not building that with a linear, narratively driven story. Or at least I don't think they are. The moment someone finishes the game, they'll want more, and CIG needs to deliver it. Star Citizen has to be in the best shape it's ever been for that moment. Not pretty good except for the killer elevators. It has to be the absolute best version of Star Citizen we've ever had. It needs to feel like a real game, not a tech demo to a first-time player. And of course it's not a tech demo, but if that becomes the takeaway, it's going to be hard to recover from that. Here's the part that tells me CIG knows this. Look at 2025 so far. Monthly patches. Fundamental systems being rebuilt instead of being painted over. New star systems dropping like there's a buy one get one free sale on Black Friday. If you told someone in 2021 CIG could deliver 2 star systems in 11 months, they'd laugh or try to have you involuntarily committed. It's not small stuff either. Major gameplay mechanics are being rolled out in rapid succession. Ready or not, engineering's coming next patch along with all of the graphics engine changes we've needed for years and years. Spoiler alert, but VR support in the PU is on the very near horizon. You heard it here, folks. Crafting's arriving soon after engineering. It's transformative, and you can feel the shift. Clearly, this isn't the same old CIG. All of a sudden, it's everyone knows the deadline is coming, CIG. And look at the IAE. It's their biggest sales event of the year. Historically, it's the Hype Olympics for Star Citizen, with the fanfare of CitizenCon still fresh in everyone's head and all our favorite ships up for purchase. Usually we get a stack of cinematic trailers featuring ships and music that makes you want to take out a second mortgage. But, and I'm being serious, please don't. This year, we got an in-universe podcast. That's the lowest effort format they've ever released. You could feel the animators were busy working on something else. They didn't even do ship commercials for most of the ships, which is shocking. Developer time was very limited. The episodes of Behind the Ship might all add up to an episode and a half of the normal inside Star Citizen runtimes. Even the much appreciated Star Citizen Live on Ships was as low effort as it could be, because the priorities are clearly elsewhere. If you read the tea leaves, that's really exciting. But here's the part people underestimate. I honestly think CIG could have launched Squadron 42 this year, if they had to. If the lights were going out, if a meteor was headed toward the building, or if their private investors flexed their influence. The tone of 2023's feature-complete messaging and the amount of polish they've shown in demos since tells me they're close, and it probably would have been okay. But okay isn't enough when your game is the most expensive, independently developed title of all time. The internet won't give CIG the benefit of the doubt, and I'm fine with that. I got over the press treating Star Citizen like a scam a while ago. They have to do their thing to get clicks after all. Why am I so confident Squadron 42 is going to do well? Because Chris Roberts himself is excited about it, and not just at official events where he's supposed to be. Board Gamer mentioned he met Chris at a Bar Citizen, and Chris couldn't stop talking about Squadron to him directly, and I can already hear some of you saying, Chris says a lot of things. Sure, but Squadron isn't even for sale right now, and he's the one who brought it up unprompted. Say whatever you want about Roberts, and some of you trolls really give it your best shot, bless your hearts. But he's the one person on Earth who knows just how much is riding on this. If it bombs, that's gonna be his epitaph. And before anyone jumps in the comments accusing me of dropping AI words, no, that's just a term people over 40 learned in school. Yes, I'm old. Thanks for reminding me. My point is, I don't think Chris would be hyping his own game like that if it wasn't actually where he wanted it to be. He could lose everything if this flops, and believe me, he knows it. Make no mistake, this thing has to be immaculate. It has to hit harder than people expect, punch above its weight if you will. It has to justify a decade of memes, delays, and expectations. Gamers are hungry for something that isn't a live service clone wrapped in battle passes. Single-player games are more popular than most imagine, and Squadron 42 could own the first part of the year. CIG knows this. You can see it in their hiring and in CIG Montreal's continued expansion. You can see it in the cadence and how aggressively they're pushing toward progress and stability. Funding is at an all-time high. The game has more daily players now than any point in its history. Star Citizen is an anomaly in the industry. No massive layoffs, there's no publisher overhead, they don't share revenue with Steam, no debt, so there's no chance of a leveraged buyout by people that you probably don't want controlling your IP. I'm looking at you, EA, and as a Mass Effect fan, I can't say I'm excited about the future there. If Andromeda didn't kill the franchise, that buyout probably did. I expect the Mass Effect 5 game to get cancelled and the IP sold. And wouldn't it be a pipe dream if CIG bought it? I can only dream. Despite industry headwinds, CIG is succeeding in all the ways the traditional model is failing, and that gives them a strategic advantage almost nobody else has. They can wait for the right moment, and the right moment is staring them in the face. And yet I really think CIG is under more pressure right now than at any other point in its existence. And that might sound strange because the funding isn't shaky. In fact, the revenue is outstanding. And from what I can gather, the community isn't angry. Sure, you'll find the same 10 sad people that post the same damn things under every single dev announcement or patch notes on Spectrum. And it's certainly not because some YouTuber with a god complex dropped another rant about the game. No. It's because for the first time in this studio's life, the stars lined up for them to have mainstream success. This never really happens. Every other year in gaming, there's a giant game stomping around and crushing everything. Elden Ring, or today's darling new hit Ark Raiders, or a generic Call of Duty that prints enough money off skins to fund CIG for the next 20 years. That's why Star Citizen is in content delivery overdrive at the moment. None of this happens unless there's a deadline nobody is saying, publicly at least, and no, it's not some corporate quarterly mandate like I deal with in my day job. It's something bigger than that. It's survival of the vision. And for all of the BS we throw at CIG, and they absolutely deserve it sometimes, there are intelligent people at the helm who get all of this and see the bigger picture. Look, I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the room. I'm just the one saying the quiet part out loud here. 2025 doesn't happen without the planning needed to ramp up to this level. Someone has been strategically thinking ahead. If Squadron 42 hits big, Star Citizen becomes the main event. Not only for the longtime backers who are never leaving this roller coaster ride, we're already committed for the long haul, and after all, they already have our money. But for the business too, because in one release, they can become the next big studio that's taken seriously. You only get one first impression in front of a global audience with a release product. Star Citizen can't still be fumbling with foundation systems when millions of fresh eyes arrive. Just ask the devs behind Mind's Eye how that's going. Well, you can't because they're all laid off. Because if someone completes Squadron 42, then rolls into the persistent universe full of hope and optimism, and the first thing they see is a guy in Area 18 T-posing on a chair, or they get off their ship then immediately fall through the planet, that's it. They're gone. They're writing their refund email within the terms of service 14-day window, I might add, immediately after logging off. And that right there is why we're seeing CIG's entire development change. Because for the first time ever, the studio has something to lose. The entire wave of new players they've been waiting a decade for. They've always had the luxury of time. They've frustrated us endlessly with all the twists, turns, and backtracks to get to today. But once Squadron 42 launches, they're no longer the promising indie kid with a complicated relationship to delivery dates. They're suddenly competing with the biggest names in the world. And yeah, I'm bracing myself for the usual internet meltdown when the marketing campaign really starts in earnest. I already see all of the stupid shit that gets posted every time CIG shares a Squadron 42 picture on its official Facebook account. People love to be that sarcastic douche in the comments, but I also know this. Squadron 42 is going to sell like wildfire if it's even half as good as the first chapter looked. And for the first time, I think they're going to stick the landing. Not because of hope, or hype, or loyalty, but because of what I see right now. The talent is there. The technology is there. The timing is shockingly good. And the momentum is undeniable. I could say none of this in 2024. Hell, Star Citizen being where it is today even got me to revitalize a dead channel and drastically level up my YouTube game. Seriously, on a personal note, thank you for helping the channel reach 20,000 subscribers. That isn't something I ever thought was possible when I started this channel as a, yeah, I'll say it, really low effort Let's Play channel all those years ago. I've never been more confident about Star Citizen's future. Of course, if July 2026 comes and there's no Squadron, feel free to come back here and ridicule me. I'll have made about 100 videos between now and then and forgot all about it. Well, am I wrong? You're always quick to point that out, so go get in the comments section and get wild. I'll be reading every one of them with the confidence of a man who absolutely should know better by now. And look, I survived being roasted by Salty Mike, and I'm pretty sure I'll survive you too. If you made it this far, you're already one of the crew, so get subscribed because there's so much more to talk about. If you'd like to support the channel further, there's the join button or my referral link to the Impound in the description. I'd like to thank my channel members, as they directly keep me flying. Seriously, you guys rock. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.